Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Tuesday, March 7th. We got ourselves a 10-game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 8 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals, and then 2 games coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. And then here's a schedule update for the remainder of this week. Video today, tomorrow, and Thursday, breaking down each one of those Nhl Dfs slates, but nothing for Friday as we have just 2 games. Probably not going to do anything for this weekend either. I actually want to start working on a new video project, something I've had in mind here for quite some time, so I'm going to start plotting that out here this weekend. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got Crosby centering Gensel and Rakell. Now, Crosby and Gensel have dominated this Blue Jackets team over the course of their career. I'm going to pull open their numbers here in just a minute, but I like Rakell here obviously being up on that first line. He plays big minutes with Sid and Gensel, and all 3 of these guys also play up on the #1 power play, so I love the correlation and upside they have in this home matchup against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've allowed 3.70 goals per game this season, the 3rd most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 76.5% rate. I'm going to pull open Crosby and Gensel's numbers now. You can see Sid here, 48 points in 36 games over the course of his career. Gensel, 23 points in 19 games. Both of those guys averaging over a point per game against the Blue Jackets. And then a cheaper line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the Colorado Avalanche. We had Compher centering Nieto and Rantanen. There were a lot of cheaper line stacks that I actually liked here tonight. For example, that first line for the Seattle Kraken. You got Beniers centering Eberle and McCann, who I do have listed below. There's a lot of options and a lot of things to like about this 10-game slate, but I think this second line here for the Avalanche could go overlooked a little bit, not only because that first line will likely be popular with Nathan MacKinnon, but because it's a 10-game slate and ownership is usually pretty spread out. But I love the matchup at home here tonight against the San Jose Sharks, who are not only playing on back-to-back games on the road, but this is a team that's allowed 4.67 goals per game over their last 6 games, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 77% rate. And we're see Compher and Rantanen play up on the #1 power play, so you could do a little mini stack between those 2 guys if you wanted to, but I think it's really easy to justify Nieto there at the bare minimum price of $2,500. You could even mix in Cale Makar with Compher and Rantanen, getting exposure to that #1 power play. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, I am running that Discord channel too. We got a great group of people in there talking hockey and prize picks, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy got there is Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have a great matchup at home tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that's seem to have mailed it in since the All-Star break, going just 3-7-2 in their last 12 games, while allowing 3.67 goals per game, with the penalty kill that's hit at just a 66.7% rate during that stretch. Braden Point's been solid here as of late. You can see in his last 10 games, 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 points, but even more so, he's been dominant at home this year. You can see in 31 home games, he's racked up 25 goals, 20 assists, 45 points, damn near averaging 1.5 points per game. I then got Andrei Svechnikov there of the Carolina Hurricanes, and honestly, I just want to get exposure to this Carolina power play right now, which is scored at a 54% rate over their past 4 games. Yeah, I'm aware that number is not sustainable going forward, but they're hot right now, and so I want to take advantage of that, especially in this matchup here against the Montreal Canadiens, a team that struggled defensively all year long, and especially on the penalty kill. They've allowed 3.57 goals per game this season, the 6th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 74% rate. Now, Svech plays up on the first line in #1 power play. Been really solid here as of late too, with 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points in his past 10 games, averaging around 3 shots on net per game. Now, with these next 4 plays here, I'm highlighting guys all in the 5K range. I think that's where most of the value resides tonight at the forward position. First guy I got there is Jared McCann of the Seattle Kraken. Kind of name dropped him earlier, playing on that first line in #1 power play for the Seattle Kraken. They got a great matchup here tonight at home against the Anaheim Ducks, a team that's allowed a league-high 4.03 goals per game this season, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 73.5% rate, and the Ducks are not afraid to take penalties, having taken the second most minor penalties in the NHL this year. You can see McCann's played some good hockey as of late, with 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points here in his past 10 games, averaging around 3 shots on net per game. I then got Pavel Buchnevich of the St. Louis Blues, who also plays up on the first line in #1 power play and also has a good matchup tonight against the Arizona Coyotes, a team that's allowed 3.56 goals per game this season, the 7th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 74% rate, and they are not afraid to take penalties either, having taken the 5th most minor penalties in the NHL this season. Buchnevich playing some good hockey himself as of late, with 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points here in his past 10 games. I then got Anders Lee there of the New York Islanders, who also plays up on the first line in #1 power play and has a good matchup at home tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, who are playing on back-to-back nights. That Sabres team has struggled defensively this year, allowing 3.55 goals per game, 8th most in the NHL, and they have the league's 2nd worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 72.5% rate. You can see Lee here's racked up 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points here in his past 10 games, averaging around 3 shots on net per game. And then Dawson Mercer there of the New Jersey Devils is playing lights-out hockey right now, by far the best of his young NHL career, up on the first line in #2 power play. And I kind of like the matchup at home here tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs, considering they're going to be missing John Tavares and Ryan O'Reilly. You can see Mercer's numbers here in his last 10 games. He's racked up 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 points, while averaging 3.5 shots on net per game. Now moving over here to the defensemen, stacking these guys up here with forwards on the same power play is my primary plan of attack, but they absolutely can be played as individuals or do little mini stacks as well. For example, you could do something like Cale Makar and JT Comph or Mikko Rantanen. Love that matchup for them at home tonight against the San Jose Sharks, and I think a lot of people are going to look at Cale Makar's recent game log and go, hey, he hasn't played all that great as of late, and he hasn't played his best hockey. He's been a bit banged up here over the past couple of months, but he's going to have one of those 30-plus DraftKings performances sooner than later, and I want to be ahead of the game when he does that. Noah Dobson, great matchup at home against the Buffalo Sabres, who have the 2nd worst penalty kill in the NHL this year. You could do a little mini stack with him and Anders Lee, Bo Horvat, again, stacking him up with forwards on that #1 power play. Gostisbehere is technically playing down on the 2nd power play unit, but he's been on fire on the power play for the Hurricanes ever since he was traded there. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he takes Brent Burns' spot on the #1 unit sooner than later. But again, just want to get exposure to that Carolina power play tonight, which is scored at a 54% rate over their past 4 games in a good matchup against Montreal. And then Juuso Valimaki here, I'll continue to take advantage of him at this price in the low 4K range. Playing for the Arizona Coyotes, not the most offensive team in the NHL, but I don't mind the matchup here tonight against St. Louis, who've allowed 3.65 goals per game this season, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 76.5% rate. Now, I got a few goaltenders listed on the spreadsheet here today. My top 2 are Sorokin and Gustafsson, both playing at home here tonight and are both favored to win at home here tonight. Sorokin against the Sabres, Gustafsson against the Flames. Both these guys have been really good this year. Top 5 in goal save above expected, and top 3 in save percentage, actually. So I like the upside that both of these offer. And then if we're looking for a contrarian low-price GPP tournament play, it's John Gibson for me. If you go look at his games here over his past 5, he's been absolutely lights out. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Ida Luosterainen of the Florida Panthers, who's currently playing up on the first line in #2 power play, and he's played well here as of late with 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points in his past 10 games, damn near averaging 11 DraftKings points per game, showing some really nice upside during that stretch of games. Next is Ivan Barbashev of the Vegas Golden Knights, playing up on the first line right now with Eichel and Marchessault, and playing down on the number 2 power play. He's got 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points here in 4 games ever since being traded to Vegas, and he got a solid matchup to build on that here tonight against the Florida Panthers. And then Kasperi Kapanen of the St. Louis Blues, currently playing on the second line in number 2 power play. He's got 2 goals, 9 shots on net in 3 games with St. Louis ever since being picked up from Pittsburgh, where he's hit 11.3, 12.9, and 16.5 DraftKings points in those games, crushing value at his price of $3,100. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. For starters, if you have not signed up for prize picks yet, but you want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prizepicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, you do not have to put $100 in either. If you want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they will match that $20. And again, they'll match anything up to $100 as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Now, as you can obviously see with me recording this morning, they only have props out for the shots on goal. To be expected, I know they don't get the full props out when I'm recording in the mornings, but usually got more than just the shots on goal. In any case, I'm going to do the same strategy here, wait for all the picks to come out, do my research, and then let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video. I'll be sure to pin that comment as well, but don't forget I post all of my picks in my Discord channel too, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 10-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.